So now that you've uploaded your Docker image and your algorithm and you've seen it work here, let's do a deeper dive into the starting kit and the programs that you need to make this algorithm run. So you'll notice in the instructions that we have our root directory set to the starting kit so that it's right here. And that's so that we can, let me define this real quick. Go ahead and build some of these environment variables. So Docker image, the one we just built, the command we're going to run, and the directory of the app. And so yeah, that brings me to my next point. So when your submission runs on the server, the first thing we do is we run an ingestion program that takes your code, runs it against the input data, and then your code will generate outputs. Then we're going to run a separate program to score and generate metrics for your data. So the first part is the ingested program. So if I kick this off, what it's going to do is it's going to run in the Docker image that you built in a container. It's going to use bash to run entry point. You need to define entry point.shell, which will take 3 arguments: app input data, app output, and app ingested program. The first argument is where the data is located. The second is where we need your PNGs and pneumonia scores. And the third is the location of your program that you uploaded, so that in case you have any other utility files, you can access those. So when this command runs, your directory will be put into a directory that we have that's kind of for the system. So you need to, as part of your entry point program, you need to make sure that you CD to your program's directory if your code needs it. If you're using absolute paths, then this isn't a problem, but keep that in mind. So here's entry point. It catches the 3 inputs: input, output, and ingested program, and then it will run any sort of program that you want it to run against the input data. So as an example, we have main.py, and in main.py you can see in the main function that we catch those 3 inputs. We change directories to the participant or your code's directory, and then we can access the model if we need. And then here, as an example, we run generate prediction matrices and pass in some of those inputs to basically simulate prediction of PNGs for the challenge. You'll need to build your own prediction algorithm and send it all through. So that's pretty much the gist of main.py. This is an example pneumonia.pt file. And so if we run it, we can see that it will begin to read each DICOM individually and then process the output. Try to read in one image at a time if you can, or in batches. If you read everything at once, it might take up all the RAM on the machine. So just keep that in mind. So if we look at the output over here, you can see that the algorithm generated these PNGs. They're random numbers because it's just an example. You can see the input DICOMs. This all came with the public data, so you can copy those into their relevant folders. A little about the folder structure. So inside app ingestion, which is our universe inside this container, we have program, which is our folder. So you don't really need to worry about it, but it is there. And that's where we store the command that needs to be run, which is the entry point.shell. The input data folder has your images that you need to process, the DICOMs themselves. The output folder is where the DICOMs go, or the DICOMs that have been turned into PNGs. So remember, we do expect PNG output. And then the ingested program is where the root of your program will live.